here's Klesmann from Germany. She's representing the Germans this week, and she's done very well. Obviously, finding her way into this bronze medal match. The German ladies field team is normally absolutely phenomenal at these events, with Lisa Unruh and Elena Richter having competed and been the previous 2 world champions. So she's following in a big tradition there. And here's our Polish competitor. What's her name again, John?
Her name's Joanna.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to see her here competing for a medal as well, which will help, get some interest behind next year's event in Poland. So, the pegs of distances are moved. Would you like to talk us through our new distances?
Okay, yeah, so the barebows have been shooting from the blue peg. And now we're going to see that the sighted archers, so that's the recurves now and the compounds later, they're going to shoot from the red peg. So this is typically 5 or 10 meters longer than the blue pegs and the unsighted archers. So our first target is the 40 centimeter. That's going to be 25 meters for the recurves. And like I say, that's 5 meters more than we've just been seeing our archers shoot.
Okay, so 2 minutes 3 hours. That was a very, very quick shot there from our Polish competitor. And a 3 as well for the German, Daniela Klesmann. Again, I wouldn't expect to see anything really decided on this. They should come out 1 or 2 points, really, shouldn't they? But you don't want to get behind massively early doors.
Well, no, absolutely. You want to at least stay in touch or take the lead if you can. 25 meters, 40 centimeter. It's not a particularly difficult shot. The angle's not too severe. Daniela Klesmann from Germany, she looked a bit shaky on that. You can see she's always a little bit nervous.
Okay, so an 11 from Joanna. This is a shaky start. So yeah, when it went into the eliminator stage, she's very nervous here, Daniela. But gets a 4 for a point. No, that's all square. Sorry, 11 each.
Come out tied.
Shaky start. So yeah, we had a 2-day ranking round for 16 people advanced from that into eliminator, and then they shot a further 12 targets. Correct?
Yeah. So 16 down to 8 positions. That's over 12 targets.
Yep.
And at that stage of the competition, all the targets are marked now.
Yes. Yeah, and that's when it starts getting really tight.
Yeah, you can't afford to be dropping points then.
No, and that takes us from 16 to 8 competitors, and then you go back to 0 points again, and then they went and shot out a further 8 targets?
8 targets.
8 targets.
Yep.
So that is 8 people shoot all 8 targets, and then that gives you a top 4. So at that point, it's 2 groups going round of 4 people. What's it like in that? Are you always wondering what's happening in the other group? You're trying to get tabs, or you just if I can win my group, I'll be safe? Or
well, yeah, I mean, through
you've been there many times.
Through the whole elimination process, you've got they rank you, 1 down to 16 or 1 down to 8 or whatever it is, and you've got the first 4 in the first group, and you're always wanting to try and at least be, to be up in that group.
Yeah.
You'd expect the top group to have the highest score, but you never know. You can get archers coming up from the lower groups. They have a good round.
Yeah. 3 there from Klesmann. Yeah.
So yeah, there's always that uncertainty, but all you can do is just keep shooting, and just keep scoring as many points as you can.
Yeah, because I know in the lady recurve division, 3 archers who made the last 4 were in the bottom of the 2 groups. They were the 5th, 6th, 7th archers, and only 1 out of the top group made it through. So, when you're shooting and you're coming off the course and you think, oh dear, not a little bit of an experience here from these guys, I think. So,
yeah, it's a tough target.
Yeah,
you can see they're nervous. I don't think we've seen either of these archers in a field final before. I don't know if they've got form in target and World Cups and so on. But
That's a much better shot. That's a 5. That's a good comeback. Yeah. So I've heard a few people today, talking to some of the. Look at that long rod going. Oh,
yeah.
what's that? Caught the 1? Yeah, it's a 1.
I think so. It's hard
That
to
was
see
a
with a
good shot.
shadow.
Yeah. So they made hard work. This is 45 meters now, but the angle, you've come back 5 meters, but the angle isn't quite as steep as the barebows had it, is it? So
Yeah, I mean the distance is longer, obviously, but yeah, as you move further back along the flat, then the angle drops. It's not quite so severe, but it's still a steep shot. It's still a tough target. So, talking about the targets and the rounds, on the March round, you've got 3 distances that you shoot at each face. So, so that face of the 60 centimeter, you'd shoot it at 45 meters, 40 meters, and 35 meters, and you shoot that twice.
Yeah.
So this is the longest distance. It's the same with the other single face that you've seen them shoot today, the 80 centimeter at 60 meters. That's the longest target.
Yeah.
And then the other 2, the multiples, the 20 centimeter and the 40 centimeter, those are at mid-range.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard earlier another match, the lad said, "Oh, I had it on for the 45," and I found that very strange. He did miss high as well, by the way, but and I heard it yesterday. Somebody added on for the long 45 shot, and I've experienced archers. I was very shocked they're adding on for it.
Well, it just depends what bow they're shooting, what bow weight, the arrow speed, what type of arrow, because you've got things like if you're shooting an ACE, that's a faster arrow than say an X10 or a Nano Pro, something like that.
Yeah, that looks a nice shot. There you go, 5. So they're on the flat now, so they can. Yeah, very nice shots there for both archers. So Poland, I'm convinced that's a 5 at first arrow. So I think she's got a 2-point lead at the moment, Joanna. Nice. 4. And this is again, as the week's gone on, they had interesting courses, very challenging on the unmarked day because they had scaled bosses, which really caught a few people out. I heard a rumour of 38 arrows missing 1 target.
Yeah, well, actually I heard 40 on that one.
But yeah, very cleverly set. I went out, I looked at the shot myself, and I'm like, I would have got that wrong. I'd have put my hands up.
Yeah, it was a tough shot. I mean, it was well laid out. They'd hidden it nicely, so nobody could see the target before they got there. Yeah. And the judge was doing a good job making sure it's fair for everybody. Yeah. So nobody had an advantage. Yeah. And
for Rzasa.
The organisers here, they've done a great job. The targets have been great. The bosses, they've been solid. They've been staked down well.
Yeah. 3-12 definitely from Klesmann. So we're just waiting to see. I'm convinced that Rzas's arrow will go up to a 5. Giving her a 2-point lead going into the final 60-meter shot. Big, long, fair across the slope. So yeah, it's interesting because some people go, they need to be hilly all the time. They should, too many flat targets. You are trying to get a blend as a course design, I believe, to make it interesting. You don't want to kill everybody with massive slopes.
Well, I think so. I mean, we've had lots of variation over the years of really steep, really hilly courses, and they're great fun. They're technical. It really brings out the field craft, knowing how to judge the distances, knowing how to shoot on the steep ups, downs, cross slopes, and so on. But also, I mean, you can kind of overdo that a bit. It's good to have some of the, flatter shots, and they don't necessarily have to be easy. No. As we talked about, light and dark. Yeah. It can be flat, but it can be across the side of a slope, which we sort of touched on that earlier again. Yeah. It can fool you into leaning the bow one way or the other and start to drag the arrows off in the downhill direction. Yeah, yeah. But the one we've just talked about, where 30 to 40 people missed. Okay, so last shot by the way for these two, the 2-point lead to Joanna Rzasa at the moment is 60 meters, 3 arrows each, 2 minutes. But it was very clever that it was just a flat shot across a pond. They changed the size of the box, didn't they? Yeah, I mean, what we saw out there on the unmarked is that it's a bit like you're seeing now, in that the face nearly covered the boss.
Under 2. So Poland has a strong lead here with 2 arrows to go. The German needs to shoot a 5 or a 6 with this arrow really to make the Rzasa work hard. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I saw they put a small face on a big boss. They hadn't done that all day.
Yeah, well that one across the water,
Yeah.
80 centimetre face, but they changed the boss size to make it look different.
Yeah.
So that can kind of catch people out. And shooting across water, that's pretty tricky because you don't have a lot to look at. It's not like looking across the grass or looking at trees. You can start to judge the distance between them, but looking across water, it's very difficult to estimate distance because it's just flat. And if the water's kind of moving, you've got nothing to look at and no reference points.
Yeah. So Rzsa's last arrow is a 3. So 6 to win, 5 to draw. Big shot uphill.
What are we going to see?
Can she do it?
It looked like a nice shot.
Oh, a 4. Nearly. So Joanna Rzasa from Poland is our bronze medal winner. They struggled on the 2 very technical shots, the pair of them, I think, there. But
yeah, you could see both athletes there were quite nervous, but they've done a great job. They've done a great job to get